Today we will be discussing whether aviation expansion will lead to economic growth while meeting climate commitments.
Aviation refers to the activities, designs and manufacturing operations involved with building an aircraft. Economic growth is the growth in gross domestic product over a country in a period of time. It is a measure of all the economic activity of companies, governments and producers in a country. Countries aim to increase economic growth as it generates higher standards of living.
This diagram shows that aviation expansion can increase aggregate demand and may shift aggregate supply in the long run due to greater productive capacity.
There are three main ways that aviation expansion could lead to economic growth for the UK. It creates jobs, it facilitates trade and it increases tourism. Larger, more efficient airports and more planes could increase the demand for labour by creating jobs such as pilots, navigators and controllers. This is because the demand for labour in the aviation industry is a derived demand. It depends on the demand for air travel. The UK aviation industry supports over 1 million jobs directly and indirectly. However, if more capital goods are used in airports, such as baggage handling systems, automated boarding gates or self-service check-in kiosks, this could decrease the demand for jobs in airports. This is because it increases efficiency as capital goods can work faster, longer and with fewer errors than humans. They can perform tasks that usually require multiple workers. And lastly, it reduces costs. Although investing in machinery has higher initial costs, it has lower long-term expenses compared to paying wages, training and benefits.
Aviation expansion could mean that people are more encouraged to travel as flights are safer, more frequent and more efficient, so tourism would therefore increase if more people are travelling internationally and buying goods and services from the other country. Increased demand for goods and services in another country from tourists could lead to economic growth if GDP rises.
An increase in the speed of the transport of time-sensitive goods like fresh produce, flowers and certain pharmaceuticals means they can reach distant markets before spoilage quicker. This helps businesses meet tight deadlines, especially in global trade or medical emergencies. If the speed of transport is too slow, the goods can lose their value or expire. Furthermore, an increase in global reach and supply chain efficiency means businesses can operate across continents, sourcing and selling globally, and it enables just-in-time delivery where goods arrive exactly when needed, reducing storage costs. This is important because it boosts international trade and globalization, and it reduces delays and improves reliability in industries like tech, fashion and pharmaceuticals.
On the downside, aviation can have harmful effects on the environment. Firstly, aviation accounts for around 2.5% of global CO2 emissions and also releases other greenhouse gases which can cause climate change. These emissions trap heat in the atmosphere, leading to global warming and long-term environmental damage. Secondly, aircraft noise, especially during takeoff and landing, can seriously affect people living near airports. It can cause stress, sleep disturbances and reduce the quality of life in nearby communities. And thirdly, expanding airports often requires clearing land which can destroy natural habitats and reduce biodiversity. This harms local wildlife and can lead to long-term ecological damage. However, aviation expansion could also meet climate commitments simultaneously. This could be achieved through more fuel-efficient aircraft and technologies and more airport sustainability in general.
New technologies being developed at the moment are trying to reduce fuel consumption and emissions. These include advanced engines, designs that improve airflow through the engine, therefore reducing fuel consumption, shape memory alloys in planes which can be used to make more flexible and lightweight aircraft, and finally sustainable aviation fuels which can reduce carbon emissions by providing an alternative to regular jet fuel. Some companies that are in favour of these ideas are Jet Zero, RDX and Airbus.
There are many possible ways that the expansion of airports to be more environmentally friendly could meet climate commitments. They can install solar panels and wind turbines to power airport operations by using renewable energy, integrate green spaces such as parks and natural elements to improve air quality and enhance biodiversity, use airtight construction and high-performance windows to reduce energy loss, use locally sourced resources and materials to reduce emissions for transportation, and finally, minimise the use of single-use plastic in terminals.
This could result in complaints from people who live in the area with noise and disruption. Aviation expansion will also cost a lot because the aggregate supply of the aviation expansion is very inelastic. This means the government may find it difficult to fund the expansion, as well as if the public are taxed more, there may be complaints, followed by a fall in consumer spending, which means that economic growth may slow down. For example, the building of a third runway in Heathrow Airport will take around a decade to build, and the people living in Slough and other areas near the airport may complain. Also, if the government spends more on aviation expansion, the opportunity cost could be less investment in public services or green energy.
These are the websites and resources that we have used to create our presentation. Thank you for listening.